To add color to our clay creatures, we are going to do an oil pastel watercolor resist. So we're going to start with oil pastels where we're coloring the different colors on our clay creatures. So here you can see I'm doing orange for the beak. Now whenever you're coloring with the oil pastels, you want to make sure you're pressing really hard. You also want to make sure you're rotating and flipping over your clay project so you get the sides, the bottom, every part that you can get. Now, there's still going to be some white spots. We'll talk about how that's going to work later. Next, if you have eyes or anything that you want to stay white, you have to make sure you get a white oil pastel and you push really, really hard. The white parts are going to be the most important parts that you want to press down on your oil pastel project with and push down really, really hard as you are doing that because we're going to be painting over them. Okay? Make sure you're adding all the different colors you need. If you did texture in your project, you'll get oil pastel on the top of your texture, but then you won't be able to get into the bottom white part of the texture too. But I'll show you how we'll get color on that as well in just a second. Try to get in between and around every part of your pinch pot, the bottom, the inside. Again, flip it and twist it and turn it so that you look at every single part. You can do designs or whatever you want on the inside with your oil pastels, getting the top edge and the bottom edge and just really looking all over. So here you can see I'm doing a few different colors and designs on the inside of my pinch pot. Have some fun and be creative with how you do this. Once you have checked and double checked every part of your pinch pot for how you can cover it with oil pastels, you'll bring it to me and we will dip it into our black India ink. And this is the ink that we use in our paint markers, so it's really permanent. So I'll be wearing gloves and I will dip it so that then that black ink gets in every crack and texture that you've created in your project, but it resists where the oil pastels are. So you can see that you can still see the white oil pastels and the orange and all the different colors that I drew on. The black ink just gets into the cracks in the texture. Now, if you don't like the idea of the black ink on your bird, you could take oil pastels, make texture, and add color, especially like I want my eyes to stay super white, so I used a white oil pastel on the bird, and I could use my oil pastels just like I did before, but then instead of adding black ink, I could add watercolor paint to this. So I've used my oil pastels, now I have my watercolor paints, my water, and my brush. And so I just make sure to dip my brush into water, swirl 10 times into my color, and I think I'm going to add some more pink over top of my pink. I'm swirling 10 times. I'm using a lot of water, and then I'm going to go over top of my oil pastels. And if I run out of water, I'm just going to dip my brush into more water, not always more paint, to go ahead and add more color to this. So any spot that I didn't do in oil pastel, I'm going to do with watercolor paint. So now you can see that the oil pastels are resisting the paint and it's filling in all the colors that I didn't get with my oil pastels. Be sure to cover every white spot except for the places you want to stay white on your clay project, including the bottom and the inside. I cannot wait to see the colors you add to your awesome creations.